Hey everybody, Ms. Dietrich here. We're going to take a look at question number 8. A train traveled 20 miles in 15 minutes, 40 miles in 30 minutes, and 60 miles in 45 minutes. Which equation represents the speed of the train in miles per hour? So notice that it doesn't say minutes, it says hour. Typically, we put the x over here, or the independent variable on the left. We put the y, or the dependent variable, over here on the right. And we have to ask ourselves, we have two units here. We have miles and we have hours. So which thing depends on the other? So miles, how many miles you go really depends on how many hours you're traveling. So that makes hours our independent variable, which means how many miles we go would be our dependent variable. All right, let's take some of the information that's provided to us and let's put it in our table, but we have to be careful to convert minutes to hours. The first piece of information that's given to us is right here. We're going to go 20 miles in 15 minutes. Now, did you know that 15 minutes is 1/4 of an hour? So we're going to use the fraction equivalent. In 1/4 of an hour, we're going to go 20 miles. Now, if you prefer to use the decimal equivalent, I'm just going to put that over here in case anybody likes that better. That's the decimal equivalent of this number. But I think in this case, because all of these numbers are going to be compatible, I think it's going to be best to use the fractions, and you'll see why in just a moment. All right, the next little nugget they give us is right here, the 40 miles in 30 minutes. So that's 30 minutes is a half an hour. So 30 minutes, we go 40 miles. Now, by the way, for those who don't know how to come up with these fractions, what we should do is when you write the number of minutes, see 15 minutes, that's 15 minutes out of 60. And when we think about what's 30 minutes, that's 30 minutes out of 60. So just to clarify where these fractions come from, if we simplify these fractions, see this simplifies to being a half, this simplifies to being 1/4. Just wanted to throw that in there just in case anybody was mixed up. All right, so the next little nugget that we have here is we're going to go 60 miles in 45 minutes. So if we think about 45 minutes, that's 45 out of 60, and that equals, in simplest form, that's 3/4. So 3/4 of an hour, we're going to end up going 60 miles. So let's put the 60 over here. All right, now what they're asking us which equation represents the speed of the train in miles per hour. So we have to explore each one of these options. So let's look at option A first. The function there is 20 times x. So I'm just going to put it over here. And if we do 20 and multiply it by 1/4, which is what x is in this case, does that equal 20? And the answer is no. If we do 20 times 1/4, that would equal 5, not 20, so we can eliminate that as a choice. Let's try choice B, which is 60 times x. Now, if we take the 60 and multiply it with x, which in this case is 1/4, do we get 20? And the answer to that question is no, so we can go ahead and eliminate that. All right, let's move on to choice C. Choice C, the function is 80x. All right, so if we take 1/4 of 80, in other words, substitute in our x value in the place of x and go ahead and multiply, we're checking to see, do we get this number of 20? And the answer is yes. If we go ahead and multiply that out, this is really the same thing as 80 divided by 4, by the way, we get 20. So now let's check to see if it works for the other x values that we have. So if we multiply 80 times a half, half of 80 does equal 40. And if we take 3/4 of 80, let's see if we get 60. Some people would want to stick a 1 underneath this. And if we reduced, 4 goes into that once, 4 goes into that 20 times. Does 20 times 3 equal 60? And it does, right? So 80 times a half equals 40. 80 times a fourth equals 20. Now, if we had used the decimal equivalents, by the way, of these fractions, so this would be equal to 5/10, this would be equal to 75/100. if we had substituted in, instead of putting 1/4, if we had multiplied 80 times 0.25, we still would have gotten 20. If we had multiplied 5/10 times 80, we still would have gotten 40. And if we had multiplied 75 hundredths with 80, we still would have gotten 60. All right, so I think we found our answer. Now, one of the things that I just want to add is, what if we were going to go for 1 hour, right? So this is showing partial hours. If we went for the full hour, it's my hope that everybody realizes that you would just do 80 times 1, and that would give you 80 miles per 1 hour, right? So that confirms that choice C would be correct. All right, hopefully you found this helpful.